Thinking Byzantine here, and today we'll be talking about some news concerning Canadian Pacific and Kansas City Southern. Now before we get into this article, I'd like to say that I'm not a financial advisor, this is all my own opinion, and please do your own research before you invest into these companies. Now, let's get into this article. Canadian Pacific to acquire Kansas City Southern in $25 billion railroad merger that spans across the entire North American continent. So, for you guys who don't know, Canadian Pacific operates railroads in Canada and in the northern United States, I believe, and then Kansas City Southern operates railroads across the Mexican border. So, with this merger, you'll get a very big railroad that stretches from Canada to Mexico. So, Canadian Pacific, like I said, will acquire Kansas City Southern for $25 billion. I've said this here. And in the actual deal itself, you're set to Kansas City Southern holders will receive $90 plus 4.89 shares of Canadian Pacific Railway stock. So, all in all, if you're a Kansas City Southern holder, you should be very happy with this merger, as currently, if I take a look at Kansas City Southern stock, it trades at around $224, $225. With this deal, I think you get around a 22% premium. So you're getting $275 in total if we account for the 0.489% shares of Canadian Pacific plus the $90. So let's see, the combined company will operate 20,000 miles of railroad, employ 20,000 people, and generate revenues of around $8.7 billion. Yeah, that was alright. No, that was right here, $275, yeah, 23% premium. So the value is $29 billion, but you have to account for the $4 billion in debt, so $25 billion in total. So, like I said, pretty good deal for Kansas City Southern holders. Now, if you are a Canadian Pacific Railway holder, prepare to be diluted a bit, as this is partially paid in stock. And I think Canadian Pacific will take on a bit of debt as well. But you do get the opportunity of owning a railroad that stretches from Canada into Mexico, which is a unique opportunity. And we'll go over that opportunity in their PowerPoint presentation that I pulled up earlier. So yeah, issue 44.5 million new shares and raise $8.6 billion in debt. Okay. Now, here's their little presentation they made. Let's look for anything useful here. Yeah, now this is I think if you're a Canadian Pacific holder, this is right here the compelling case just to continue holding your stock. Or if you're a Kansas City holder, maybe you want to keep that 0.489 stocks, but let's just go over what they have here. So, like I said, it creates the first U.S.-Mexico-Canada railroad network, expand competitive options for customers, well-positioned for growth, and bring together two railroads with a three-year revenue CAGR, highest 3-year. Annualized synergies of $700 million, accretion to CP's just diluted EPS, shared dedication to quality service. Both companies champion of environmental sustainability. Yeah, that's another thing to keep in mind when you're investing in railroads. That these aren't these plume coal burning railroads. These are efficient machines, and with how they do things, they try to be as efficient as possible. I forgot the exact terminology, but they have a system where everything is on point and it's very efficient, and that's how railroad stocks have been growing in terms of stock appreciation and their margins, because they're pretty good. So if we look at their network, this network stretches all the way up here from Vancouver to Veracruz. let's see, with their business mix. With this combined business, we get intermodal, 36% bulk, 46% merchandise. Yeah, so the biggest part of the business will still be Canadian. But let's see, governance. Oh, and I guess another thing to note is that the combined business will be called Canadian Pacific Kansas City. Seems a bit wordy. CPKC. Yeah, like I said, a bit wordy. Maybe, what's a cool name for this company? Maybe Canadian Kansas City Pacific? Maybe just, that sounds slightly better to me, but then again, I'm not naming the company. So, let's see. Global headquarters will be Calgary. So, the current headquarters will be the same, but the overall headquarters will still be in Alberta. Let's see, anything else here? Okay. Click on EBITDA. Leverage. 2.5 times leverage. Okay. 2 billion extra free cash flow. Okay. And pause share to resume once long term. Okay. So, if you don't know, the railroad business has a thing about rebuying shares. Like, they don't really pay as much as a dividend they could because they buy a lot of shares. I believe UNP, which is a Union Pacific, actually took out debt to rebuy shares. So there'll be no change to their dividend policy, but in any case, when you're looking at railroads, you got to be keeping an eye on that debt and seeing what they're doing with it. Otherwise, you may be buying a debt-loaded trap, especially when they're issuing out long-term loans. I believe a guy named Sven, Value Investing with Sven, mentioned that some of these companies have interest payments of around 6%, which is pretty high in this time of, in these days where the 10-year is only now inching to 2%-ish. But yeah, I digress my case that you just gotta keep an eye on the debt on the railroads, because when you're in the share buying game or share repurchasing game, the only way to actually get those gains is actually to sell your shares. Unlike dividend stocks, where you can just keep on holding them. In order to get your gains for these stocks, you're probably going to have to sell them. And that's just something to keep an eye on. Like I just like to keep saying that over and over again. Just keep an eye on railroad debt. Now, if anyone's interested in environmental sustainability, or safety or long-term commitment, or if you want more details on this merger, I suggest going to Canadian Pacific or Kansas City Southern's websites to see if you can find any more information. I believe there's actually a webinar or a presentation on this combination. I'm not sure where it is, but you could probably find it if you look it up. So, if you're a Kansas City Southern holder, this deal is really good for you. If you're a Canadian Pacific holder, you're taking on a bit more risk, but you get this unique opportunity that is being presented for this three nation-wide railroad network. So, in the comment section below, tell me what you guys think of these individual companies and of this combination. And are you going to sell out of these companies once the combination happens, or are you going to hold? In my case, I'm probably going to just sell out any stock I receive and see if I can find a new opportunity. And if you want to see more like how you value railroad companies, I suggest looking up value investing with Spin. I'll put a link in the description down below on how he values railroad companies. This is Thinking Byzantine, and have a good day.